We live in the 21st century, an age where we strive for justice and equality in all aspects of our lives. Equality between different races, ages, and of course, equality between the sexes. So who would have expected a simple item of clothing to be the subject of such heated debate? Well, that is exactly what has become of the Islamic veil in Western society. In September, Liberal Democrat Minister Jeremy Brown said that government should consider banning young Muslim women from wearing the veil in public places. And last week, the most senior judge in England and Wales described the matter as divisive. This issue simply isn't going away. Hostility towards the Islamic veil has been growing in recent times, with France, Belgium and the Netherlands all moving to legislate towards the banning of the veil in public places. But should governments really enshrine into law what women can or cannot wear?
We need to be clear about a couple of things. First of all, what exactly do we mean by banning, right? Now, banning can take place in a variety of different legal ways. Banning could involve imposing criminal sanctions on somebody who's wearing the veil, or it could involve some kind of exemption from the anti-discrimination law, which is, of course, the civil side of the law. It seems to me that the face coverings bill that's going through Parliament at the moment actually takes the more hardline approach and adopts a criminal law stance insofar as the question of banning is concerned. It seems to me that this is a fairly un-British way of doing things. This is where the consensus in British society will probably mean that such a bill is defeated. The consensus being that it seems a very un-British way of going around it. It sort of seems to go against the grain of British toleration.
So it seems any type of ban on the face veil in Britain would go wholly against its tradition of freedom and justice. Going further, at a very basic level, doesn't this kind of legislation simply infringe our basic human rights?
It's possible. It's possible. I mean, actually, if you look at the phrasing of the Hollow Bone Bill, it's not specific to Muslims. Right? It's actually broader. It tries to criminalize the wearing of any type of face covering in public, and one can argue that that's actually a broader assault on the civil liberties of British people generally, because I can't walk in the cold weather wearing a balaclava, for instance, right?
If I want to wear a jilbab, a hijab, a niqab, or if I want to wear a microskirt or a t-shirt with fancy flowers, or if I want to be a goth or a hipster, it's my choice. It's my choice. I should be able to do it without any restrictions. I mean, the government should try to do its best to protect this possibility. And as long as nobody forces me, as long as I do not hurt another human being, I should be able to do it.
So the state should be protecting our human rights, not infringing them. But what about countries who have already implemented legislation against the face veil? What effect has it had on its citizens?
The problem, for example, in France regarding the full face covering ban is that in spite of the title, the name of the act that prohibited such a garment, the act on the ban of the concealment of the face, actually only Muslim women were concerned by the ban because of all of the exceptions to the law. For example, doctors wearing masks are allowed to conceal their faces in public. People riding bikes are allowed to conceal their faces with the helmet. And the act actually implies that only women should be prohibited from doing it. And obviously that, legally speaking, a total discrimination towards them and a blatant violation of freedom of religion and conscience.
It seems the debate about the Islamic veil will rage on. But the question we must all ask ourselves is, do we really want our government infringing our basic human rights? Do we want them dictating what we can or cannot wear? And if so, where will this government intervention stop?